Perhaps we would need each other. My colleague leaves and now he sits across the table from me. He asks me, what in God's name do we as Muslims have to do with racial issues? It's best that we don't interfere those few moments we're finally left alone. Let them handle their business. I wonder if he deliberately blinded himself for how close it all is to us. For the division even in our own community based on prejudice. For Arab-Asian superiority complexes. For how we're living proof that divide and conquer works. How it doesn't justify Islamophobia. But that's another story altogether that shouldn't even be brought up. Let's focus. For how that same prejudice is killing our ummah. His right hand grabs my attention. I see him firmly holding on to an ice pick that has blood dripping from it. When I look up, I see the scratches going from above to right under his eyes, going right through them. Cowardice suits him. When I bring those different points to the table, he answers that words like that divide us, as if addressing the problem is the problem. He says, well, there isn't really an issue, actually. Racism doesn't exist in Islam. Okay. I look at him and realize that in about 46 seconds, he'll mention Bilal. I tell him that by pointing to this perfect God-given vision, we keep ignoring the pains of our black brothers and sisters. We forget our task to be witnesses, standing firm before justice, regardless of who is oppressor or who is oppressed, even against family, parents, ourselves, defending it with all that is left. He says, but Bilal, I know Bilal. As if Bilal is the only black body we're connected to. As if hanging with the right religious crew is what makes blackness valuable. I know Bilal. Bilal is the black father providing for his kids, driving to work and getting nervous when cops pull him over. Bilal is the two young black boys several months ago, waiting for their train at Antwerp Central Station, and getting scared of a group of white men sounding drunk, kicking cans, screaming around, me telling them to just act cool but be as frightened as they are. Bilal is the black woman that doesn't get accepted by her in-laws because even though she's Muslim, she's also black. He says, God forbid. Yeah, man, God forbid your nauseating ignorance. I tell him maybe he should read chapter Anissa, the women. He says, I always skip that part. I say, I can tell. I say the prejudice in our ummah is killing our people, our unborn children. He says, well, at least we're still breeding. Eric says, no man, we're not. Perhaps we would need each other. And now she sits across the table from me. And she asks me how white people can ever love us if we don't even love ourselves. She doesn't hear that her question points to the open wound of conditioned inferiority. Why should our loving ourselves result to anything other than us loving ourselves? We are closer to each other's warmth than we realize. We just need to look harder, love harder, open our arms wider and longer. My sweet, lovely, loose mouth taught me, speak up. There are just hours between us across continents, overseas. Borders exist only in our heads, and because we have accepted them while forgetting who draw the lines, let's draw our ones here. Anissa, a flight to the Americas is only 8 to 12 hours. To Asia, it's about 3, and to Africa, 2.5. 2.5. All you need is a plane ticket and courage. All I need is a plane ticket and courage. Meaning, the whole white world can tell us that we have nothing to do with each other. But I only need a trip of 11 hours to scream, Black Lives Matter and bury my brother. We have everything to do with each other. Don't let them fool us. He sits across the table from me and he asks me, does it always have to be about racism? Yes.